प्रतिबोधितां भगवतां नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम्। तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। प्रतिबोधितां भगवतां नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम्। अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। I welcome you all with my love and respects. The 7th chapter of the Gita is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. First, we should see what is the need for this chapter. Again and again and again, Krishna is speaking the same truth. Nothing else is spoken. The same truth. But why so many chapters? People ask me, Swamiji, how many days it will take for us to learn meditation? I tell them, to learn meditation, 2 minutes is enough. To learn what is not meditation, you need 10 days. In the life, you are doing so many things which is not meditation. To unlearn really takes time. Logically, when we express the truth, mind always goes to the other end of the logic and sits there. Now, not only from this end, from that end also you need to understand what is truth. There's a beautiful philosophy in India, Nyaya Shastra, logic. They explain 2 kinds of logic which is used. First kind of logic is a regular logic, regular Nyaya. For example, all men have one head. Socrates is a man. Now the third statement you know, Socrates has one head. This is a simple logic, this one kind. There is another one kind, second variety, the higher level logic. Here there are two doors. This is the first statement. Second statement is, one door is open. Usually, a normal man immediately will jump to the conclusion, the second door is closed. But you can't. In this logic, you cannot jump to the third statement with these two statements. Second door also may be open. We don't know. There are two kinds of logic. In a simple logic, you can go to the third statement. You can go to the conclusion directly from the first two statements. When you hear all men have one head, Socrates is a man. Third conclusion, you can just jump. Socrates has one head. No problem. But in the second kind of logic, here there are two doors. One door is open. You can't go to the third statement. You can't jump to the conclusion. The next door, the other door is closed. No. It may be open, who knows? The third statement also should be understood or should be heard. You cannot come to a conclusion. Usually, we make all our mistakes in our life whenever we need to take second kind of logic. We come to conclusions with the first kind of logic. The moment somebody makes a statement, you don't have compassion. Immediately you say, you mean I am cruel or what? You mean I am violent? You don't have to make the next conclusion, or you don't have to go to the conclusion. She just made a statement, you are not compassionate. But you don't have to think immediately. You mean I am cruel? You mean I am violent? When you jump to the conclusion, you create more trouble for yourself and for others. Many times, again and again, we make this mistake. When you handle your mind without awareness, again and again you make this mistake. Please understand, the words which you repeat inside your system, that is going to create your whole life. The words which you repeat inside your system only is your whole life. Totality of the words used by you in your mind is your life. Your life is nothing but the words or the thoughts which you had in your mind. Now, if your mind jumps like this to conclusions which is not logical, which is not straight, naturally you create trouble for yourself and you create problems for others. When you are not aware, you always jump to this type of conclusions. Ordinary masters, they express their philosophy or their experience only with the first logic, using the first logic. That is why so much of misunderstanding. There is a possibility of missing their message. But Krishna is a Jagat Guru. He is not an ordinary master. He is a master for the whole universe. And he knows all kinds of human beings. He knows all the problems of logic. He is delivering his message in such a way you cannot make any statement. You don't have to assume any statements. All the three statements he himself declares, he himself clears. He says, here there are two doors. First door is open, the second door is closed. He himself makes all the three statements so that there is no need for you to assume. if you are allowed to assume, if you are allowed to predict, you miss the truth. Not only you miss the truth, you miss the whole thing. So here, Krishna is not ready to allow us, he is not ready to allow us to predict. He is not allowing us to predict. He is very clear in all three statements what is supposed to be done and what is supposed to be avoided, why it should be done, why it should not be done. He is clear with the whole thing. That is the reason, again and again, he is repeating the same ideas, but from different logic level. Same statements he makes, but from a different logic level, so that people who are hearing will not miss the message, will not miss. The Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the whole chapter speaks about the same message, of course, from a different view. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanta Madashraye Asamsayam Samagrammam Yada Nyasyasita Srunu Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunyan Madashraya Asamsayam Samagrammam Yada Nyasyasita Srunu. Bhagavan says, now here, O Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Again and again, people ask me, Swamiji, why did you choose to speak on Gita? Why you didn't choose? There are so many other books. Ashtavakra Gita is there, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Brahma Sutra, Upanishads. Why do you choose Gita? Gita expresses the truth in a complete totality. I can say, he has created keys for all possible human beings. For every human being, he has given a key. Yes, Krishna fulfills every need of every human being. He says, O Partha, let you listen now how by practicing the yoga in full consciousness of me, means eternal consciousness, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. In this chapter, more than 3 times he says me, me, me. If any psychologists read this line, they will think he is egoistic. According to psychology, if you use the word I or me more than 3 times in a statement, you are called egoistic. You need treatment. Otherwise, how will they have money? They need money. Before you, more than you need treatment, they need money. Anyhow, for a normal man, it looks egoistic. Person who hates Krishna, he thinks Krishna is egoistic. Again and again he declares, surrender to me, I am everything. In this chapter he starts expressing his glory. Of course, in the Vibhuti Yoga, the other chapters, he explains completely. But here, in the 7th chapter, he starts, I am this, I am that. For a normal man, it looks egoistic. Person who hates Krishna thinks he is egoistic and misses the truth or the spirit expressed by Gita. Same way, person who loves Krishna, he is caught in his form and misses the juice of the Gita. Person who hates Krishna thinks Krishna is egoistic and misses the whole juice. Person who loves Krishna is caught in that form of Krishna and misses the whole juice of Gita, whole spirit of Gita. Please be very clear. Whenever people are caught in the form, when they start worshipping the form, they slowly start telling, Swamiji, Gita is great, Krishna is God, he can express all these things, but that is not for us, it is not practical. Slowly you create a distance between you and Krishna. You start worshipping Gita instead of practicing it. It's like you have a pot full of milk and you start worshipping it. You never drink it. Can you have the benefit of the milk? No. Unless you drink, you cannot have the benefit. Unless you imbibe Krishna, you cannot have the benefit. That's why I always tell people, Jews have avoided Jews have avoided Christ by crucifying him, putting him on the cross. Hindus have avoided Krishna by worshipping him, putting him on the wall. Please be very clear, hanging in the cross and hanging in the wall is one and the same. When you don't imbibe Krishna's teachings in your life, when you don't work towards experiencing Krishna, worshipping Krishna is nothing but crucifixion. It is a cunning method of escaping. People who crucified Christ, they carry the guilt, they did a mistake. But these guys don't even carry the guilt. Hindus don't even carry the guilt. In a very nice, cunning way, they escaped from Krishna. Worshipping without following, worshipping without imbibing is worst form of crucifixion. People who hate Krishna, they think he is egoistic. People who love Krishna, they are caught in that form and they think they should surrender to the man Krishna who came down in the human form. Only people who experience Krishna realize Gita. Only people who experience Krishna understand Gita. People who hate Krishna, people who love Krishna, both of them miss Gita. Only person who experiences Krishna realizes Gita, realizes the value of the Gita, experiences the Gita. Otherwise, if you are caught in the form of Krishna, you will become fanatic. You will become fanatic. I have seen so many people who are caught in the form and become fanatic. Here, beautiful sloka. Next sloka. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadadi siddhaye yadatam abhisiddhanam kaschinmam veti tattvataha. The whole gist of this chapter is how human beings approach divine, why they approach, in what levels they approach. There is a beautiful saying in Bible, God created man in his own mold. But I tell you, man created God in his own mold. The truth is, man created God in his own mold. We approach divine as we want. According to your maturity, you approach the divine. In what level you approach divine, and how you worship, and what you receive, and how to grow in maturity. The whole thing Krishna explains in this one chapter. Here he says, out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Beautiful. Here he says, out of thousands, we should say out of billions. We should change. In those days, population is less. So he makes the statement out of thousands. Now we should say out of billions. One may endeavor for perfection. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadadi siddhaye yadatam abhisiddhanam kaschin mam vedi tattvataha. Out of millions of among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Out of millions, there are only few. Out of billions, only there are few who enter into the path of seeking. Out of that few, only one or two achieves the ultimate experience. There are millions of people, only few hundreds are here to listen to Gita. And in these few hundreds, only few will listen as it is expressed. Otherwise, we will sit, we may hear, but never think you are listening. Please never ever think you are listening. And I always request people, never go and repeat what I said to somebody. And if you repeat, don't say that I told all those things. Be very clear, you heard all those things. Tell them, I heard all these things. But never say, Swamiji told. Many times we miss, it's like a modern day psychologists, they say, hardly 2% of things which happens around you, you observe. If 100 things are happening around you, you observe only 2%. You imbibe only 2%. It's like you got 100-page novel. You read. Suddenly you lose the whole book. Only 2 pages random you got in your hand. All the 98 pages, other 98 pages are lost. With the 2 pages, if you try to reconstruct the whole novel, how much it will be true to the original? Same way, whatever you remember, hardly 2% you will remember. With that, if you try to reconstruct the whole thing of what I said, naturally, it will be your lecture, not mine. Please be very clear. We may be sitting here. It is not that we are listening. And even if you go out and say all these things, if you share some ideas, always tell, I heard. Never tell, Swami spoke. Krishna goes deeply. Now he starts the Indian community system. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukridino arjunaha arto jignasurartarti jnani cha paradarshava. Before entering, I bow down to the system which is created by the rishis, which has made the whole spiritual science into reality, the community system which kept our scriptures alive, the spiritual science alive. In the modern days, it has become fashion abusing our community system or abusing the social system created by rishis. It has become fashion bashing our Vedic system, or abusing our Vedic system has become a fashion, especially in South India. Abusing the Vedic system and abusing the Swamis is a fashion. If you want to show you are an educated man or you are a big person, just abuse our Vedic system. You can immediately gain popularity. There will be at least 10 fools around you to listen what you speak. It's a very easy, cheap way of becoming popular. We have started condemning, not only we have not understood, and we have started disrespecting the great system created by our ancient masters. Before entering into the system, I just wanted to say a few words. Just because of our rishis, just because of that system, still our spiritual culture is alive. Our country is alive. The other day I was reading Paramashivoham's autobiography. That's a beautiful reference. Abraham prays to God, Genesis. Oh God, he requests God not to destroy a particular piece of land. God says, if I find 10 good people in that land, I will not destroy that land. He tells them, if I find 10 good people, I will not destroy, just for the 10's sake. Really, after reading that statement, I understood why still India is alive. Why still India is alive? The greatest miracle of God is still India alive. Still India is alive is the greatest miracle of God because of these 10 people. No other culture survived, lived for such a long time. See, all the cultures which was created after Indian culture, Babylonian culture, Rome, Greece. See, all these cultures, they all know how to fight, how to build big cities, and professional way, they know how to protect themselves. Great warriors, but they were not able to survive. Today only we see their relics. The culture itself is not alive. It is not there. Indian culture, Indian system, at least 10,000 years of recorded history we have. At least 10,000 years of recorded history. There is a beautiful book written by Swami Prakashananda Saraswati. That's a book title. Comprehensive History of Religion and Indian Culture. India's history, he gives in a beautiful way. According to him, it's at least trillions of years. We can be sure of one thing, at least 10,000 years of recorded history we have. No other country is invaded. No other country is invaded so much like India. India is invaded practically by every culture, every country. There is nobody who has not invaded Indian soil. No country invaded by India. India has never invaded any country. It has never went out to destroy, to fight, to catch, and no other country which stayed within their boundary. India is again and again invaded, but it never went out to invade anybody. But end of the day, look, this is the only culture which is still alive. It has not died, still alive, just because of this community system. And the next thing which we need to understand, and a very important thing, when we read about all these things. Man cannot live without creating community. Man as such is social animal. He will create some form of community. It is not that West don't have community system. In other countries also community system is there, but based on money. Based on money. When I went to Brazil, I was giving a discourse in Petrobras, that company. One guy got up and asked, how do you justify the community system of India? The high caste people, they look the low class people very in a disrespect way. How do you justify this? Of course, there are one or two mistakes, or we also did something, we missed the spirit and started following the letter. Some mistakes happened, that is true, but just because of that you can't say the whole thing is wrong. For example, if you have tumor in your body, the tumor has to be operated and removed. You can't straight away kill the whole person. You can't disrespect the whole person. The operation should be done and tumor has to be removed. You can't abandon the whole person. And it is we who did one or two mistakes and then started abusing the whole system. I told him, yes, there was one or two mistakes happened. Then I asked him one question. Yes, I agree, there was one or two problems. Now look at the developed countries or so-called cultured countries. If you enter into the airplane, look at you. Have you observed how the people who are sitting in the first class, how they look at you? Just seeing them you can understand how they look at you. Don't think here there is no community or no class system. In every place there is community and class system. But at least with Vedic rishis, they created based on intelligence and wisdom. With rishis, community system is created based on intelligence, based on knowledge, based on wisdom. In other cultures, the community system is created based on money, based on power. In some countries, the people who are ruling, Kshatriyas, they created community system. So the person more powerful, more respected you are. In some countries, the people who are doing business people control the whole system. There, more you have money, more you are respected. India is the only country. The whole system is created by the people who respected intelligence and wisdom. Who respected intelligence. The whole thing is done based on intelligence, based on wisdom. So, that is why in India, the more person carries the wisdom, more is respected. More is spiritual, more is respected. The whole social system is created based on sharing. Man has to contribute something to the community. He has to contribute something to the community. Let me now describe the whole spirit, how the system is created and how we abused it. Of course, we abused it. We have not imbibed the spirit completely. If we would have imbibed the spirit completely, we wouldn't have fallen to this state. Let us first understand the spirit with which the whole system is created. Then we will understand where we made the mistake. Then we should understand how we can revive it and again practice in our life. First thing, the whole system is not based on birth. It is based on your character. Krishna again and again says in the Gita, it is not based on birth, it is based on your guna, based on your attitude towards the life. Person who works based on fear, person who works out of fear is a working class. Person who works out of greed, he is merchant, business people. Person who works just to have attention or to prove he is some way superior, he is Kshatriya. Person who works just out of gratitude, expressing his bliss, is Brahmana. Everybody has to contribute something to the society. Person who shares his time, he has nothing else. He has got only one thing, his time. Person who shares his time is called worker, working class. Person who shares products, he has got time and little bit of intelligence to create some products. He creates some products and he shares the products in the society. He is called Vaishya, merchant, business people. Person who shares confidence, person who gives courage to the whole community, person who gives confidence to the whole community, person who unites the whole group as a community in a solid way by giving confidence. Person who shares confidence is Kshatriya, warrior. Person who shares the knowledge, bliss, spiritual wisdom is Brahmana. It is completely based on your role, the role which you are supposed to play in the community, in the society. It is no way related to your birth. Please be very clear. This is the spirit with which the whole system is created. This is the spirit with which the Vedic rishis have designed the system. Here, nobody is higher and nobody is lower. Nobody is higher and nobody is lower. In course of time, because one or two mistakes happen, you can't say the whole system is Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukridinorjuna arto jignasur artarthi jnani cha paradarshava. O best among Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Who all approach the divine. In what ways they approach the divine? Who all approach the divine and in what ways they approach the divine? Man is centered on basic 7 emotions. Basically, we work, live based on these 7 emotions. First, greed. Next, fear. Third, worry. Fourth, attention need. Name and fame. The 5th, comparison and jealousy. The 6th, ego, means thinking that your ideology is you, standing for what you believe. Ego. The last, the 7th, deep discontentment. These are the qualities with which man lives. These are the qualities with which he is working. He is centered in these different 7 emotions. At some point or other, you will be working only based on these 7 emotions. Every moment, scan your life, you will be working only based on these 7 emotions. Either out of greed, fear, worry, and attention need, jealousy and comparison, and ego. 7th, deep discontentment. Man is centered on these different 7 energy centers. These 7 emotions are the 7 energy centers which supplies energy, fuel for us. We are being fueled only from these 7 emotions. All your work, if you see the root, you will see the root in these 7 emotions. If you are centered on greed, you approach God in the same way. Lakshmi appeals for you. You want only Lakshmi because you are completely centered on greed. Continuously you run behind Kubera, Kubera Yanya, Kubera Yaga, Kubera. Continuously you repeat the concept of Kubera. First we should understand, whatever you feel you are missing, by creating your own God, by approaching the divine in that same mold, you try to feel the fulfillment. You try to feel the fulfillment, approaching the divine in the same mold, the same emotion, or in the same feeling which you are missing in your being. If you think you are poor, if you think wealth is the first thing in your life, you run behind Lakshmi. You run behind Lakshmi. Please be very clear. One more thing. When you become mature, when maturity happens to you, you approach the same Lakshmi as Jnana Lakshmi. You ask the same Devi, same goddess to give wisdom, to give knowledge. You approach the same God in a different way if you are grown. You approach, you create God in your own mold. How much you have been mature? According to your maturity, you project and see the divine. You approach the gods. That God appeals to you more. If you are centered on greed, if your whole thoughts are going around the greed, you go to the God who gives you all boons, who makes you feel fulfilled, or who gives you what you want. Person who is centered on greed feels happy, feels comfortable, always goes only to Lakshmi. He doesn't want any other God. He wants only Lakshmi, only Venkateshwara. Of course, you can approach Venkateshwara from various levels. But when you approach with greed, you start the first step. You start the first step. It is not that you should not approach the Lord through the form of greed. Approaching divine from greed is nothing wrong. Starting your life with prayer is not wrong, but ending your life with prayer is something seriously wrong. It's a good start, but very bad end. Starting is nothing wrong. Vivekananda says beautifully, it is good to be born in church, but not to die there. Before you die, you should grow out of it. You must become matured. You must realize the other dimensions of divine, the other dimensions of your being. Divine is nothing but a mirror. You reflect, you see your own reflection. You see your own reflection. And whatever you do to the divine comes back to you. If you understand, the more you grow, the more matured way you will relate. The more matured way you relate to the divine, more you grow. Otherwise, you are completely confused and caught like a drunkard. A small story. Man comes back to the house late, very late, fully drunk. He is not even able to walk. Somehow he enters the house, this way, that way, but he is not able to walk. He falls on a glass piece. Not only he breaks the glass piece, and glass piece hurts him very badly in the back. Goes to the bathroom, tries to put some bandage, manage himself, looking at the mirror. And slowly, without making any sound, enters the bedroom and sleeps. Next day morning, wife has started her enquiry. What happened? What did you do last night? He said, what have I done? I am okay. No, tell me, why are you late? No, I just went for a couple of drinks. That is okay. Did you hurt yourself? He said, no, I did not hurt myself. Then why did you put so much of bunch of bandage on the mirror? Why did you put bunch of bandages on the mirror? This guy, instead of putting the bandage on himself, he has put the whole bandage on mirror. If you are drunk, if you are not aware, you will be doing the same thing. You will be just doing everything to the mirror. You will miss where you are supposed to work. You will catch the mirror. Catching the mirror and catching the form is one and the same. Catching the same attitude, catching the same form is nothing but catching the mirror. If you put the bandage on the mirror, you can never be healed. The mirror should be used so that you can understand where the bandages we put. But you cannot heal yourself by putting the bandage on the mirror. Same way, the God or the divine should be used to find out where you have problem, like a mirror. But the healing work should be done on you, not on the mirror. Don't start doing the healing work on mirror. When you miss the whole thing completely. A man who is centered on the greed is stuck with Lakshmi, is stuck with prayers. One guy used to come to the ashram, a small astrologer. Suddenly one day I saw he came in car. In India, car is a luxury, you know. I asked him, what happened? Suddenly you got a new car. Did you win any lottery? He said, no, Swamiji, it is all the grace of Lakshmi Yantra. It's all because of Lakshmi Yantra. I told him, who gave you the Yantra? I never heard of something like Lakshmi Yantra. Who gave you? He said, no, nobody gave me, Swamiji. I started giving to people. Whether the person who received Lakshmi Yantra becomes rich or not, the person who gives becomes rich. So be very clear, starting your life with prayer is okay, good start, but not the right place to end. Next level, the person who is centered on fear, he always worships gods who will protect them. He is continuously fear-centered. He is behind. Continuously he will be doing Sudarshana Homa. Continuously Mrityunjaya Homa. Some gods will be protecting. You can see always he will be rounding Navagrahas. He will be circumambulating Navagrahas. This graha, that graha, this puja, that puja, this dosha, that dosha. Continuously will be around Navagrahas. It is okay, nothing wrong, but not the place to stop based on fear, worshipping the divine. Approaching the divine because of fear. Approaching the divine because of greed is one step. Approaching the divine because of fear, next step. Third, approaching the divine because of worry. Again, the worry is nothing but fear and greed. The mixture of fear and greed is worry. The mixture of fear and greed is worry. You approach the same way. You try to pray to the divine, please help me to stop worrying. Please help me to come out of these worries. At this point, you may go to some yoga or meditation for the sake of peace, not for spiritual enlightenment, just to calm your mind, just to give a little peace, rest to your mind. Next level, based on attention need, based on name and fame. For the sake of name and fame, we approach the divine. Not only we will be praying to the divine, we will start representing the divine. I have seen many people, by and by, they slowly start representing. In India, if you go, the people who run the temple, they almost behave like gods. Very big problem. The person who runs the temple starts thinking he is God. Because he starts thinking, I am taking care of the whole thing. Why not? He knows the tricks of the trade. He thinks, I am everything. When I know the whole thing, why not use the situation? Why not use the thing? That is a big problem. I always tell people, unless you are mature, never take up this running temple. One person asked me, Swamiji, I don't believe in spirituality. I am not a spiritual person, but I want to run the temple as a social service. I just want to do it as a social service. Shall I do it? I told, never do that mistake. Never do it. If you are not matured spiritually, if you enter into this work, surely you will trouble yourself and trouble others. By and by, it will become a pure name and fame game. Pure name and fame game. And naturally, you will hurt yourself and you will hurt others. Never take up unless you are spiritually mature. That is why they say, there is a beautiful sloka. At the time of the pratishtha, the karta, instruction or qualification for the karta, the installation or the pratishthavana should be done only by an enlightened person. Otherwise, the person who is karta, he will receive all the collective negativity as sins of the people who come and pray in the temple. It's a very frightening idea. Frightening idea. Don't think it is a lie. It has actually meaning. It has its own meaning. The person who takes up this type of job without having spiritual maturity will naturally end up in name and fame problem. He will create trouble for himself and for others. He will start representing. He will start putting himself. He will start acting for the sake of divine. And when people come and stand in front of the God, deity and pray, they are gullible because they are caught in the fear and greed. You can easily exploit them. You can easily make them what you want them to do. Because they are already in trouble. They are waiting. What is the solution? Where is the solution? They are in search. So naturally, easily you can take them for a ride. That is the reason. Again and again and again, the Agamas emphasize only enlightened masters should run the spiritual organizations. All the major temples of India are run by enlightened persons, or the tradition of sannyasis, or the tradition they run. And again they say, if you give a business to a sannyasi, he will destroy. He will not know how to do. If you give a spiritual project to a grihastha, to a businessman, he will make the whole thing into business. He will make the whole thing into accounts. Divine cannot be brought under the accounts. You cannot bring the divine under the calculation. The whole thing will lose the spirit. The spirit will be lost. The original cause or the original spirit with which the whole thing is created, the inspiration with which the whole thing is created will not be realized. That is why masters again and again emphasize, you need spiritual maturity before you enter into this type of activities. Spiritual maturity is a basic need. Don't come to the divine for name and fame. You will miss it and you will miss it. Next, comparison and jealousy. This is an extreme step. This is an extreme step. People always start comparing. People always feel jealous of their position, their standard, their point. The person who compares, who is in jealousy, can never rest. See what makes us run in our life. Why do we feel continuously running? Why are we in a hurry, such a hurry? Why do you think we are running? That's what. There's a beautiful sloka which says, just like how monkey charmer makes the monkey to dance with a small stick, the Parashakti Maya is making us dance with the one stick called jealousy and comparison. With that one stick, she makes us all dance. We do all dance, all kinds of dance because of that one stick. The moment you think somebody has something more than you, you are in a hurry. You are in a hurry. A small story about the hurry. One man enters the bar and orders 5 drinks. Without giving a pass, he downs complete all the 5 glasses. The bartender asks, why are you in such a hurry? This guy says, you also will be in a hurry if you have what I have. Bartender sympathetically asks, what is the problem? What do you have? I have only 50 cents. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. This guy says, I have only 50 cents. If you are hurrying, please be very clear, you have only 50 cents. You don't trust yourself. That is why you run. You don't think in a relaxed way you can achieve. We don't trust our energy. We are hurrying because they have only 50 cents. We want to grab and finish everything before the other person realizes I have only 50 cents. Don't be in a hurry. You don't have to run. I have 100 carat diamond. I have this, I have that. With the divine also people start boasting and comparing. Why to go to temple? Even in our houses, When your friends come, many people, in San Jose, there was a devotee. He took me to his puja room and started explaining. All he has is only some 10 photos. But for each photo, at least half an hour explanation. And he says there is no copy of this photograph, no photograph like this exists all over the planet Earth. And I told him, how? There must be at least few prints. No, Swamiji, all other prints are destroyed. This is the only print available. And you can't understand to what extent of foolishness we will go, or to what type of things we will do if we are caught in jealousy and comparison. Goes on and on and on bragging. This is mine, this is mine, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way it is kept, this is the way it is kept, this is that, this is that. When you approach the divine with the mentality of jealousy and comparison, again you are caught. You see the same thing in them. People come and ask me, Swamiji, in Puranas we see so many gods and goddesses are fighting out of jealousy, out of greed, out of anger. What have you got to say about that? Please be very clear, those Puranas are written for the people who are caught in jealousy, so that you will be able to relate with them. Don't think divine did all those things. I don't think divine would have done all the mistakes. If you think the divine also has done all those mistakes, you will be able to relate with him. That is why again and again we do Kalyanotsava, the marriage ritual for God. When you feel he is also married, you feel comfortable and safe. And you feel, yes, I can relate with him now. He is also like me. Just to give you the comfort sense, just to make you feel relaxed. All these stories are told. All these things are expressed so that you will be able to relate. See, unless the divine is expressed in your language, you will not be able to relate with it. That is why all these Puranas, all these stories are written and given to you. The next, the person who is centered on ego. This is very difficult. The person who is centered on ego, person who is centered on name and fame, tries to accumulate name and fame, showing the divine in front. The person who is centered on the ego starts claiming he is divine without expressing the qualities of the divine. That is why there is a beautiful Upanishad which says, if you are divine, express it by your qualities. Let people recognize by your qualities, not by your words. Be very clear. What you do will speak for you. What you speak will not do anything for you. What you work, the way in which you work will speak for you. But your words will not work for you. Here, there is a beautiful Upanishad, Paramahamsa Upanishad, which says, Paramahamsas should not wear this kavi cloth. Actually, technically, to tell you honestly, I am not supposed to wear this cloth. They say, you should not be respected for this cloth. By your very quality, you should be respected. Because of your quality, because of your divinity, you should be respected. When you express the divine qualities in your life, that should be respected, not this cloth. Again and again, the divine emphasizes. Yesterday there was a question, how to find out A person who is egoistic or a person who is real spiritual master. Person who is egoistic can only play with words. Only a person who has achieved can reproduce the experience in you. Person who has achieved will be able to create the experience in you. If you receive the experience, then be very clear, your master is enlightened, divine. He is the embodiment of spiritual experience, knowledge. If you get only words, not experience, be very clear, something is seriously wrong in the path or the person whom you are following. Words are like menu card, experience is like a food. You go to some hotel, they give only menu card and they say, food is not available here. Can you call that as a hotel? No. Just menu card is not enough. Your hunger cannot be removed. Words are like menu card. Food is experience. Experience is the food. Be very clear. In the spiritual life, don't stop with menu card. The person who has approached the divine with ego will always start representing the divine without having the solid experience in himself. That is why again and again Upanishads, they emphasize on the experience. If you don't experience, be very clear, there is something seriously wrong with the person whom you are following. I always tell people, if you are not experienced with me, forgive me, there is something seriously wrong in me. Forget about everything. You are not wrong. And it is very easy to put the responsibility on the disciples and continuously blame them. You are not qualified, you are not practicing it perfectly, you are not practicing it regularly, you are not right, that is why you are not having experience. It's a cunning way of cheating a disciple, postponing it. He comes to you because he is not perfect. And again if you start telling, you are not perfect, that is why you are not having experience. For that you don't need guru, for that wife is sufficient. That's what she also tells continuously. From morning till night, that's what she does. We don't need master. Master is a person, whatever may be your condition, he will be able to reproduce the experience which happened in him, in you. Scientist is a person who creates formula to reproduce the outwardly things. Spiritual master is a person who creates formula to reproduce the inner world experience. I always tell people, if you are not experienced attending our meditation programs or meditation camps, be very clear, something is seriously wrong with me, not with you. Forget about me, carry your life, you may meet some master. I am enlightened only if you can experience that, not before it. Before it, it is only a word, menu card. Menu card will not help you. It cannot remove your hunger and it can create only more hunger. It can only create more trouble. So don't stop with menu card. What you are hearing, this is only menu card. Don't stop with the menu card. Aim directly towards the divine. Let you aim the divine. The person who goes to the divine, who approaches divine with ego, he gets everything and boasts his ego. He never surrenders to the divine. He becomes more egoistic. He becomes more strong. He strengthens his ego by getting all this knowledge. Be very clear, they are the most dangerous people. Most dangerous people. Instead of surrendering to the divine, they strengthen instead of surrendering their ego to the divine, they strengthen their ego with the knowledge. This knowledge can be used in two ways. With this knowledge, you can surrender yourself to the divine. And with this knowledge, you can make others to surrender to yourself. For both purposes, it can be used. It is up to you to which purpose you are going to use. A small story. One king goes to the forest to fight, to hunt. For hunting, suddenly he sees continuously more than 50 trees. There is a target mark that drawing round circles. The center there is an arrow. There are target marks and exactly in the center arrow is there. Continuously he sees so many target marks. Exactly on the center arrow is there. He wants to find out who is this person, master of this archery. Who is the person? He must be a great master. He must have mastered this whole art. He must have been like Arjuna. He started searching this person. Suddenly he sees a young boy with bow and arrow, the same color arrow. The king goes and asks him, "Are you the person who shot all the arrows?" He says, "Yes, I am the person." Then king congratulates. "Today onwards I appoint you as my Senadipati," means my commander in chief, and I appreciate your mastery over this bow and arrow, your power, your capacity. Please tell me how you are able to manage in such a young age, such a high art. How did you achieve such perfection in this young age? Then the guy says, "It is very simple. First I shot the arrow, then I mark the paintings. Then I make the circles. That's all. First I shoot the arrow, then I make circles." Be very clear. When we approach the divine with ego, we do the same thing. Instead of aiming at the center, you will put your arrow, then you will make circles. Then you will create circles. Completely you turn. Instead of aiming at the center, you turn the center to your aim. Here, when we approach the divine with ego, instead of surrendering our ego, we strengthen our ego with this divine knowledge. Danger. Next, the ultimate, when you go to the divine with a gratitude, with ultimate gratitude, the whole relationship takes a different turn. You start feeling so grateful, so deeply connected with the divine. Your whole life changes from low, first level greed. With the greed and begging attitude, you go. Next, the fear. Gods who protect, they appeal to you more. That is why all the tribal gods, you can see, they will have big swords. Even in Indian villages, you can see the gods with big swords, with big bow and arrow, and all those ayudas. Gods with ayudas means he is worshipped by the person who is centered on the fear. Next, Ori, who gives you the peace. Buddha will appeal for you if you are centered on Ori. Buddha will appeal more. Who gives you peace? That type of gods and gurus will appeal. And the person who is centered on name and fame, the gods who give you name and fame, they will appeal more. And the same way, not only the gods, to the masters also you approach from all these levels. I have all 7 kinds of disciples. People who approach me out of greed. People who approach me out of fear. People who approach me because of worries. People who approach me for name and fame. People who approach me out of that jealous and comparison. Comparison means, I think that guru has got only 1 or 2 ashrams. This guru has got more number of ashrams and engaged itself. He must be a big guru. And people approach me out of ego, just to prove their ego, or to feel satisfied, to strengthen their ego. You know, I am a disciple of Nithyananda Swami. I am very close to him. He knows my name. He can call me by name. Just to have ego satisfaction. There are few who approach and experience the divine, the gratitude. People who approach with the greed. One more problem. The people who approach with greed, not only they have greed, they have their own idea, they have their own fantasies about a master, how a master should be. They have their own fantasies, they have their own frame. They come with that frame and see whether this person fits with that frame or not. Fits with that frame or not. I always face a big problem because of my age. The age is a very big problem. This really happened in India ashram. One day I was sitting outside the ashram. I was alone, sitting alone without my turban. Secretary, nobody was around me. I was sitting alone on a small stone, enjoying the cool breeze. Our ashram is actually in the forest. It's a forest area. Still cheetah, elephants, everything comes. And it's a forest area. I was sitting there on a stone and enjoying the cool breeze. One elderly pandit, very elderly man, well read. By seeing you can say he's a elderly pandit, a knowledgeable person, intellectual. He came and asked me, I wanted to meet Swamiji, where is he? I told, please go and sit in the Ananda Sabha, he will come in half an hour. In darshan time he will come. He went and sat in the meditation hall. Unfortunately, in those days, somehow I used to be alone, I used to sit. People don't, there were not many people in the ashram. He went and sat in the hall. After half an hour, I put my turban and the rudraksha, everything, and I went there. I was about to sit in my chair. He said, no, I want to meet Big Swamiji. I wanted to meet Guruji. I said, please forgive me, in this ashram I am the Swami. And whom you really want to meet? He said, no, I heard about the Nithyananda Swami. He healed my cousin. I wanted to see him. Then I told, this is your cousin's name. She has been healed. It is me only. And I am Nithyananda Swami. And you will be surprised. He is not ready to believe. And he was just looking at me. Then I said, you see, usually we don't carry ID card. Usually India Swamis don't carry ID card. Still, if you can't believe, look at that photograph. See the name and see the face. I am that Swami. And I can't tell anything more. And you will be surprised. I tell you, it is the truth. He did not speak to me and he went away. He went away. He said, I have nothing to learn from you. Okay. He went away. Strong fantasies. Strong imagination. They are not able to relate. When you have that strong imaginations, you will not be able to relate with reality. Very difficult to relate with the reality. And really he went away. He said, I have nothing to ask you, I have nothing to talk to you. Okay. He went away. When you can't drop your strong imaginations, naturally you will not be able to relate with the reality. And same out of fear. People who come out of fear also will never be able to get rid of that fear. They will always be stuck with that. And the people who come out of worry, people who come for name and fame, in a different levels, people approach the masters or gods. The more you are matured, the more matured person will feel, you will feel connected to that person, or will give you the fulfillment. When you become mature, when you are above the fear and greed, please be very clear, you will approach the same master, same God with a lot more maturity, with a lot more intimacy. You will feel deeply connected. In Bhagavatam, we have 5 different attitudes how to relate with master or how to relate with God. First, Dasabhava means seeing the God as a Lord, as a master. How the Anjaneya related with Rama. Seeing him as a master and serving him. Serving is the only sadhana. How the Anjaneya related with Rama. Next, Vatsalya Bhava. Seeing the God as a child, as a son. As my own son. How the Yasoda saw Krishna. Third, seeing the master as a friend. How Arjuna saw Krishna. How Arjuna related with Krishna. Sakabhava. Fourth, seeing the master, seeing the God as a father or mother. How Ramakrishna related with Kali. How Ramakrishna related with Kali. How he felt Kali's own mother. Ramakrishna used to eat, and after eating he will feed that same food to the God, to the Devi. And the temple organizers, they said, no, you cannot do this, it is sacrilegious. You cannot give the food after eating to the God. He said, if you say that, I will go away from the temple, I have no problem. But I cannot serve, I cannot give the food to the divine, food to my mother, unless I taste it. Unless I know it's a good food, I cannot give for my mother. If you say, I have no problem, I leave the temple. From outside the temple I will worship. But I will do only in this way. He felt she is mother. And the next, seeing the Lord as a beloved, Mathura Bhava. How the Radha, Rasheshwari, Sri Radha, Sada Krishna needs a tremendous maturity. Only if you experience the consciousness which is beyond body, you can relate with the divine in the attitude of beloved, attitude of Madhura, the Mathura Bhava. These are the 5 major bhavas with which people relate with the divine. With a different maturity level, different attitudes suits your mind. According to your maturity, the attitude differs. The more person is matured, more the gratitude starts happening. Less the person is matured, more you will be filling your life with prayers. Prayer religion is greed, confession religion is fear. Then next, when you go beyond the prayer and confession, starts gratitude, starts experiencing the divine. Now, Krishna starts explaining how you can grow step by step, how you can reach the ultimate maturity, how you can create and experience the divine in the ultimate level.